So can you talk now about your journey of leaving, your job, the parachute flying off and then going into, where you are now?
Yeah, this was a very challenging decision for me because I grew up as a kid with no money. It was very challenging for us growing up. And as I started to progress in my career and started earning more and more money, admittedly, in my late 20s, early 30s, I went through a phase where it was just a party, just making it rain, buying cars and jet skis and all the
Wow.
toys. And then I realized, okay, well, this isn't very fulfilling. And
Mm,
once I got that out of my system, I started living well below my means. And I have nice vehicles just because I like nice vehicles,
mm,
but I still live well below my means. And I just started saving and saving and saving because I knew one day, I didn't know when, but I knew one day I was going to go out and do my own thing.
mm.
And admittedly, my former employer, they paid me very, very well. And not many people know how much they paid me, but whenever I had a conversation with my family and said, "Okay, I'm going to leave and then go do this thing," there was kind of a, "Are you sure you want to walk away from that?" And I had reasons for wanting to leave, but then what was more powerful for me was my mission to go do something big and help even more people, businesses, and teams grow and become the best versions of themselves. So I had this calling and I couldn't ignore it anymore. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I had the conversation with the senior leadership. They tried to get me to stay for a little while, and I said, "Hey, this is really important to me. I have to do this." And so, very respectful, I set up a 6 month transition time where we took my IT team, rolled them under the CFO. We took the ESG team, rolled them under VP of Strategic Development, and HR, safety, transportation, and the PMO and leadership development. They hired another VP to take those functions. So over that 6 month span of time, I gradually transitioned all of my teams over to other leaders in the business and then started WSS. And there's a few things that I think are important for people to understand because I've been very open and public about my journey of leaving corporate America and then starting a business. And I've done that through the podcast. But there's a lot of people out there that are frustrated with their boss or employer and want to go start their own business. So I've kind of started coaching and guiding and helping some people in that arena. But the first thing I ask them is, why do you want to do this? Because if you don't like your boss, if you don't like your company, that is not a reason to go start your own business. You start a business because you've got a fire in your soul that is hotter than hot to do this thing.
Mm.
Because you are going to need that fire. You're going to need that intrinsic motivation to weather the storms that are going to happen. It doesn't matter how good you are at your craft. You can be the best engineer or software developer in the world. If you don't know how to market, if you don't know how to generate leads and sell and service the work and invoice and handle and build a team, that is going to be very challenging for you because these are all aspects of business ownership. So me transitioning out.
So you're wondering the value in being a podcast guest. Think about it. You want to build your personal brand. Is it important as ever? And coming on this show allows you to do just that. You're able to leverage our audience, but not only that, you're able to leverage the content from this podcast as you clock up the hours someone spends with you. The longer time someone spends listening to your story, your solutions in the marketplace allows you to do something special. It allows you to build a community and build a brand. You can leverage the community here, but you can also leverage the content from this show to be able to use where? On LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where you're going to shine. LinkedIn is where you're going to generate leads. So whoever you are, you want to come and tell your story. You want to be able to come in and be a guest that allows you to build your brand. Link in the description, we'll get in touch. So join our waiting list to feature on the Rubasha Family Podcast.
The biggest thing that I missed out on was the importance of building skills around selling. And I had unintentionally started building skills around building a brand through the podcast. Because having the podcast, I'm closing in, 3.5 years now of having the podcast. And I started to develop a brand and reputation for showing up every single week, rain or shine, whether I'm sick or not. The episode that dropped last week or 2 weeks ago, I mean, I was sick as can be. You can hear it in my voice. Every single week I show up and deliver. That was building a brand of consistency for myself. Now I've been able to carry that through to WSS and the company that we're building. But that has been the most challenging aspect for me, is understanding more about sales and customer acquisition. So that's marketing, branding, lead generation, sales cycles, things like that. That was probably a miss on my part. I underestimated how much knowledge I was lacking in that domain. And I'm starting to get more comfortable with it, and we'll eventually end up hiring dedicated salespeople. But one of the things that has served me well is every time I step into leading a new functional domain, when I did this with HR and then safety and then transportation and then ESG, and every single time I go into leading a new functional domain, I spend 6 to 12 months going all in to learn everything I possibly can about it. Then I either build the talent to service that or buy the talent. So hire talent. So you can say, I've got this person on my team. They're going to grow into our brand manager and marketing person. I'm going to coach, build, mentor, develop her so that she can do it. We don't really have an in-house skill set around sales or being dedicated to sales. I'm learning the skills, and we will eventually hire a dedicated salesperson. But this is another myth that I think a lot of newly minted entrepreneurs struggle with, is I need a salesperson. So they go hire a salesperson that says they're great at sales. They keep them on payroll for 6 months and they haven't closed a single deal. So presumably they did that because they didn't know enough about sales, and they got sold that this person was going to come in and save their business. So it's important for you to understand, where are the gaps? What are you going to need to know when it comes to building your business and surrounding yourself with excellence with other entrepreneurs, whether it's masterminds or group chats or dinners or whatever you've got to do. Surround yourself with people that are in that space, and just be an absolute sponge. Learn everything that you possibly can, and know that even in doing that, when you do your own thing, it's still not going to be enough, and you're going to have to figure out even more.
Yeah, I see some similarities with our journey a little bit, just because like me, I've just been a content creator. Like I was just on YouTube, right? Like I was playing sport, being an athlete, and just doing that consistently led into it in the business, and now managing what we're doing. So like with the sales, like going out and having to get clients, like it was foreign to me. You know what I mean? Like I just prefer to this is what I love doing. And even with the sales, like I'm not the best at it still. Like I have just said, I actually promised myself I'm gonna be out there teaching and doing and working with our clients so much that people are gonna come to me in a way, and I can always improve. But so I see a lot of similarities there, and also what you said even about when you learn how to do something, same as editing. I know how to edit. So now when we bring that, you can't tell me, like I know, and I'm getting a bang for my buck too, because you can't tell me it can't get done. Move out of the way, I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? And every role like in the business I can do. You know what I mean? So I think that's so true. Like you said, a lot of people make that mistake where you do that.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're gonna love that one.